depending on how far we get today, is either going to be a really weird class or a really boring class. So let's see how we do. At one point, I can't remember who asked, but let's say we had an integral like this. Somebody asked, could we do this? Or like if there was an operator in there, could we move that operator around? And I like made a grimacy face and said, most of the time, yeah, but you have to have a special type of operator. We're going to go through and we're going to show when you can do that and when you can't do that. And we use the term Hermitian for these types of operators where you can move them around. For an operator to be considered Hermitian, it has to be able to follow this condition. So we're going to have a generic operator, O. What do we have to do to denote that O is an operator? Yep, little hat. Where we have I and J. Where I and J could be the same wave function, they could be a different wave function. That has to also be equal to O operating like that. We take the complex conjugate, tau, excuse me, of I and J, and that also has to be true. And generally, operators that are physical observables are Hermitian operators. Excuse me, I should have written this differently. Generally, observables can be represented generally, they can be, whenever you have a Hermitian operator, or excuse me, when you have an observable, it usually is a Hermitian operator. Sorry, I keep on trying to want to say the other thing around. That's not always true. It's like one of those dumb logic problems, like all glorps are actually bebops, but all bebops are not glorp type thing. Okay, let's look at an example. We're going to consider a wave function we've looked at in the past, and we're going to look at it with respect to the momentum operator. And we're going to see, is the momentum operator Hermitian or not? So example, given that psi of x is equal to e negative 4x is the momentum operator. Piece of x hat Hermitian. Okay, so we're basically doing a proof here. What do we got to try and show? Yeah. We basically have to show this. Is that true? Do we get the same result out in the end? Okay. So our generic expression I know. Okay. If you notice I didn't give integration limits, we'll see why in a second. I got really panicked. It's not going to matter. Let's do this one first. Okay, we get the integral. We got to take the complex conjugate. What's the complex conjugate of this guy? Yep. This time it does matter because we have an I in there. Oh, that operator. You remember, or I'm sorry, this is actually px hat. Look back in your notes, what was px hat? Negative. Yep. And then we got to operate on e to the what? And then what variable are we integrating over? Yep. Okay. What part are we going to do first? Specifically, what part of the parentheses? Yeah, we got to do the operator first. You always conduct the operation first. Which way do operators always act? Yep, to the right. So we got to do this part. We'll leave this guy alone for now. E to the plus I for x. I tend to put a sign in front of my i's because I get confused. If it annoys you, I'm sorry. Negative I h bar derivative of this guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. A lot of i's floating around right now. I like to combine terms. Is there anything we could pull out front? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 4i squared because the negatives are going to go away. Some people can jump right to the end. I can't do that. I operate stepwise. Squared. Okay, what else? Yep, 4h bar. And then we got this integral, right? Okay. What now? Yeah. This will get you e to the 0, which is what? Love that integral. Okay. What are we going to get out in the end? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Negative 4h bar x. What do we have to do next to show that this is Hermitian? Let's do that one. In this case, we got px psi star let's write everything in and then apply the complex conjugate. Okay, again, we got negative I h bar derivative of x e. What was our function? That guy? Okay. Complex conjugate e x dx. Okay, let's apply the complex conjugate. What's going to happen? Oh, you can do it whichever way you want to do it. Do you want to operate first? So you're doing the derivative first is what you want to do. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Negative I h bar, we're going to get the same thing out that we got over here, right? So I'm just going to write everything. For a lot of parentheses going on. What'd I forget? Yeah, I got what? Star up there. Okay, what do you want to do next? What? Yeah, that's what I would like to do that. So we got I squared. What else are we going to get? Yep. E to the what? Yep. Complex conjugate. Yeah. Little bit further now. Okay, there's a couple different things you could do here. What do you want to do next? Okay. If we apply the conjugate, what's going to happen here? Yeah. Then what else? Yep. I'm going to have to erase some of this stuff. Okay, what would you do next? Yep. Did we screw something up? Yes. So that's going to change things. So that negative actually turns to a positive. Then we have I squared. Yeah. We want to work that out real quick? Okay. I squared is equal to negative I times negative I. So then the negatives will cancel. What's that going to be equal to? This becomes what? Yep. Times total of.
So the negative is applied to like
Yes. Good catch, Lily. I was like, that's not going to work out. That's why I hate eyes in some cases, because you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. Does that make sense, though? Okay. Weep. So now we should get a negative out front. Okay. Then we got the integral of e to the plus 4x times e to the minus 4x dx. How does that work out? Yep, this is just 1. So then what's our result? Yep. How does that compare? It's the same. So therefore, is a Hermitian operator. Third one, we could do it again. It's going to be the same thing. So rather than make us do it, I'd rather save some time. Because then if you apply the complex conjugate at the very end, all that really changes is when you get to this point, they just flip signs and you still get a 1.
So on Quizlet, should we do on there?
I have no problem with if you just do the first one. If you show that that's true, that's fine by me. It should be pretty apparent. Like this is more complicated than doing the last one. Like the first one and the third one that we had on there are easier to do than this guy. This is actually the more complex one to check out. Make sense? Feel okay? So sometimes I'm going to say, like with PChem 1, we had all these assumptions. Sometimes I'm going to tell you the wave function is normalized, the operator is Hermitian, and so on. So know what those things mean. Or these wave functions are orthogonal. You see that, you should be like, yeah, best day ever, because it's 1 and zeros most of the time. Okay. No questions about that one, right?